Tales, pretty tough loss, amazing game for us to watch, but how do you sit back and sort of let it sink in?
Yeah, it was a pretty frantic game, wasn't it? It was, it was a pretty special game to be part of. I think Showdowns are, notoriously physical and close, and that's what we got in the end. It was a ripping game of footy to be out there, and their crowd was amazing. It was really good to be part of, and it felt like a real finals type game. So, really disappointing to lose, and you walk in here, pretty upset on a Monday every time you lose, and especially in that fashion. But it was a cracking game of footy, and full credit to Port. They executed that last play, and that got them over the line.
I know you had a great game again. You've had a great year, but when you look back at that final 30 seconds as a defender, who is obviously part of it, I know it's all mad, it's all happening in the blink of an eye. But do you think maybe we could have dropped two more behind the ball? Maybe we could have set up a bit differently. What do you think of it?
Yeah, you do. Those things run through your mind, but we were set up pretty well. We had a look at it after the game, and we had two extra behind the ball, Gov and Dougie, who ended up running into each other. So that's just the luck of footy. Sometimes the ball falls in between them, and Motlop comes through and kicks a really clutch goal. So we were set up pretty well. It wasn't the set up; it was just about executing that final play. And three guys, Need, Douglas, and McGovern were really desperate to get the ball, and that's just footy sometimes. So yeah, it was a cracking game, and that last play probably summed it up. It was just a clutch goal, and as I said, full credit to Port. They played really well all day, and it was a good showdown.
So you don't beat yourself up on that structure stuff?
No, not the structure. I think if we had our time again, maybe one marks the ball, but as I said, the kick fell in between, and everyone was desperate at the end there. So nothing structurally. It was just a great game of footy.
Do you guys practice that sort of the clutch stuff, going it both ways? I mean, you guys put yourself in front with 40 seconds to get practice offensively and defensively those ones?
Yeah, I think every team's got a set play, whether they're down or up late in the game, and you probably would have seen we set up a bit differently to kick those three goals. We probably went a bit more attacking and had to take the game on and roll the dice a bit, so that probably got us back into the game. So structurally in that last 5 minutes, we executed really well, minus that last play. So as I said, it was just one of those games where there was a lot of momentum shifts. I felt we probably could have been in front a bit more in that first half, and then that third quarter was pretty electric by them. They dominated out of the middle, and Robbie Gray turned it on and swung the game for them. So it was just one of those games, and it come down to the last play, and that's footy sometimes.
Why couldn't you stop that third quarter run?
Yeah, I think it was about the contested ball numbers. We got beaten badly out of clearance, and down back we probably, Robbie was pretty special through the stoppages and won some one-on-ones, and I just don't think we ever got control of the ball or won the hard ball in that 20-minute period through the third quarter. So it's something we have to look at. We've got to be better both in the centre and down back to be able to at least hold that momentum. I think they kicked 7 in a row in the end. So I think that was probably where the game changed, and it's happened probably the last 2 weeks. We've had a bad patch of 20 minutes here or there, and it's something we've got to fix up if we're going to beat the better teams.
What goes through your mind then as a leader of the back line when they're sort of 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 5 in a row? What do you say to the guys?
Yeah, well, firstly, you want to try and have an impact on the game, and it was pretty hard. I didn't feel like I could be in many contests through that period, but you just want to try and keep guys calm, and I suppose relay to the midfield, try and win some contested ball and get it out of there. It didn't happen in the end, but just that's footy. There's momentum shifts, and you just got to stay calm and stay present, I suppose, and just try and play your role and keep the boys real calm back there. And I didn't think there was a lot of panic. They'd kicked a lot of goals, but we were able to turn it around in that last quarter. So we're used to that now. We've played a lot of big games, and Port were really fierce and ferocious in that third quarter, and it's just something we've got to keep working on.
Charles, how's the skipper today?
Yeah, he's good. I think I just got in the club, so I actually don't know, but judging from the end of the game, kicked that 60-metre goal, and I think what was a bit of glute tightness he had there, but judging by that kick, it can't be too bad. So he played out the game, and I think he'll be right.
So you're confident it's just a glute rather than another hamstring issue from what you've been told? Or?
Yeah, well, I've actually got no idea. I've just walked in the club, so we'll get an update later in the day. But I don't think it was another hamstring issue. He just had a bit of tightness through that glute, and as I said, he was able to kick that long goal. That's usually a pretty good sign if you're kicking the ball like that late in the game. It's nothing too major. So.
And the Bulldogs, obviously Friday night. How highly do you rate them?
Yeah, they're a great side. You know, we've had some really good battles over the years, and they look like they've got their pressure in that contested style of game going again this year, and playing some really good footy, and a couple of young guys that have really come in and stood up. So it's going to be another real big test of our contested footy, and you know, a real pressure game again. Last year we played them here, and the game was like that in the wet. It was, you know, a real slog. So we're ready for that, and looking forward to taking them on.
Obviously, the Bond's been at the start for a long time. Had a slow start, but he kicked 4 on the weekend. But Jackson McRae sort of has stepped up as almost their prime mover. How much of a watch you got to keep on him this weekend?
Yeah, well, they're two guys that are really important through their midfield, and they've got a number of other young guys, you know, Johannesson and guys like this through their back line as well that can really damage you. So, yeah, they've got a good young quality list, as I said, and they're starting to click again and play some really good footy. So we know we're going to have to be on to beat them.
Do you think you get a few reinforcements this week after all of your injuries? Is anyone coming out the other side?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the injury list, but I know Kyle Hardigan's close. Alex Keith is close. That's down back, and I'm sure there's a couple of other guys that are around the mark as well. So let's hope we get some players back. You know, we need them when we start going through the year and facing some really good sides. And yeah, we're 5-3 and want to get ahead of the ledger and keep playing some good footy. So yeah, let's hope we can get some guys back and you know, start building and playing some really good footy.
And big Sauce, he was moving like Hans Molman towards
Yeah, what did he have? A bit of back spasm, I think it was. And yeah, again, he played out the game. He probably wasn't moving his best. And let's hope he's all right this week as well. As I said, I've just walked in. But if you can play out a game, usually, you know, everyone carries niggles. So if you can play out a game, it's usually a pretty good sign. So let's hope Saucy's right and available this week.
What about, well, he could miss with Izzy, couldn't he? Like, did he go back to being sore one week?
Yeah, well, I think he's come out and said that if Izzy goes into labour, he'll be there, and it's you know, a pretty common thing these days to, you know, put family ahead of, you know, one game of footy. You know, it'll be their first child, and pretty special moment for Sauce. So if it happens to fall, you know, on Friday night, we've got a backup in Riley O'Brien, who you would have seen a bit of playing through the NAB Cup, and I think he played a couple of years ago against Sandy over in Perth, and he's a really good ruckman that's ready to go. So if Sauce happen to goes out, we've got a, you know, like for like replacement ready to go.
And 4 home games in a row, this is the last of those 4. Is that good to have 4 home games in a row, or how do you feel? I guess in your career you wouldn't have gone a month without travelling.
No, you're right. We haven't gone 2 weeks without travelling usually. So yeah, it's been nice to stay at home for sure. It's you know, playing in front of a home crowd for the majority of it, minus last week in the Showdown. It's been nice for the body, but obviously later in the year at some stage I think we travel back to back, Perth and Melbourne. So yeah, we'll see how it goes later in the year, and I'll be able to tell you if it was a good thing or not. But at the moment I'm really enjoying, you know, just staying in Adelaide, and certainly not travelling for 4 weeks has been a bit different, and your body does feel good because of it.
To make it more important to beat the Bulldogs though, make most of your last home game.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really important that we, you know, try and get a win this week. That 4-game stretch, we really set ourselves to, you know, win at least 3 of them. So this week's going to be an important game, and as I said, you know, the competition's so evident. Everyone seems to be sitting on 5-3 or, you know, 4-4. So it's a really important game, and we're well aware of that, and can't wait to get back out there Friday.
Tell us about your role on Big Charles. Like, you kept him really quiet. Then towards the back half of the third quarter, he started taking a few grabs up the ground. So you forced him away from goal. Why were you so successful against him?
I don't think it was more my success. I think they just changed a couple of things up. You know, we were probably on top the first half, and it seems like they put their tools up higher and isolated their smalls, and probably had some success with it in the end. You know, Gray kicked a few goals, and Wingard and a couple of these guys were dangerous. So yeah, it's a good battle. I think, you know, in the first half we had majority of the ball in our front half, and probably me and Charlie weren't in a lot of contests. So it's always a good battle on him. You know, he's a great player, really strong, and can be really dangerous if you let him mark the ball, and you know, he's a pretty good kick for goal. So we've had some good battles over the year, and I'm sure there'll be many more to come.
2 of your losses this year, I suppose you conceded like 3-goal leads as well, like late in the game. Is there something you have to address there?
Oh, I think, you know, the last couple of weeks we've just had those 20-minute patches where, you know, it's more the run on that the teams get. We're letting them score 4, 5, 6 goals in a row. That's hurting us. And you know, there's always momentum shifts, as I said before, in a game. But if you can limit the damage, and you know, it might be 2 goals to 3 against, or you know, the scoreboard pressure's huge. So if you allow 5 or 6 in a row, it usually hurts you, and that's something that we certainly got to look at and fix up.
At what point do you get to move on? Like, I mean, we're still analysing everything that went on a couple of days ago. You've got some rules about moving on, but there a letdown factor that's going to come that you've got to be aware of?
It's something that's been talked about in the past. The week after a showdown, especially after a loss, whether it's a factor or not. I don't think so. I think, every week of footies it brings up a different challenge. And to your question, we'll move on after today. We'll review the game. It's only 2 days post game now, and we'll do our review this arvo and talk through it all. But by tomorrow we'll be looking at the Bulldogs and ready to go. So.
Taz, I don't know if you saw, but there was, I believe, a Crows fan who made an inappropriate remark to Robbie Gray on social media. How disappointing is it that we talk a lot about making inappropriate remarks over the fence, but now they have this other medium to make them? What do you say to fans like that?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the post, but if they've written something pretty bad, we don't condone that as a footy club. We've got a really good social conscience, and especially things around whatever it may have been. We don't condone that. So to all the fans out there, you just want to play by the rules, and as a footy club, we don't support anything like that. It's just you want to go out there, support your team, play hard on the weekend, and things like that. Just not supported by the players of the club.
How's Rory travelling? Difficult start to the year for him. What sort of headspace is he?
Yeah, Rory's a pretty positive guy, and everyone that's met him knows that. And it's been a tough year for him. He's had a couple of foot injuries now, and we probably missed him on the weekend. They were his perfect conditions in and under, and really contested style game. And I thought not having him out there hurt us, but. He's a quality player. I think they reported a Liz Frank strain or whatever it was last week. So, he'll rest it, give it a couple of weeks, and hopefully it comes good, because those injuries can be pretty nasty. But Sloaney's a professional. He's been around a long time, and we hope we get him back sooner rather than later.
Thanks, guys.